Welcome to C-Suite Sherpas, where we shine a spotlight on business experts and resources that you should know. Today, I'm really happy to have on the program Elissa Buxbaum, who's the founder of One Us Consulting, and they provide data-driven strategic planning to increase employee engagement and team efficiency, ultimately helping companies to build a brand to attract and keep top talent. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Elissa, I'm thrilled to have you here today. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. It's lovely to be in conversation and to build the relationships.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. So let's just jump right in, okay? Can you give us a snapshot of kind of what your business is and the major outcomes that you get for your clients?
Sure. At One Us Consulting, we build strong talent pipelines. And what that means is we fill skills gaps in industries and we close success gaps based on identity, because identity shouldn't predict outcomes. And so when we measure, we find out what's happening in the workforce, and then we ask why. So we look at, is transparency the problem? Do employees who are motivated not know how to get ahead? So we make sure that all employees have a pathway to go from a job to a career. And that helps the companies by employee retention and by making employees happier. Because one of the reasons people stay at a company, one of the reasons why they glow when they talk about work, is to know that they have opportunities where they work, opportunities for advancement, opportunities for financial stability and well-being, opportunities to have good relationships and communication with their coworkers. And so all of this builds to efficiency by saying we're looking on an institutional level to say, are people in the right positions? Is it a right fit, right person, right fit for within your organization, to make the machine run smoothly? And then two is on an interpersonal level. How are teams communicating? Are we making sure that people know what to do when they make a mistake? There's conflict resolution protocols so things don't get out of hand. We don't want passive aggressive behavior. We don't want people avoiding another colleague because of political differences. So we want to make sure that everyone has a genuine connection and purpose at work. And that leads us to the third, which is individual, right? So if we make sure that each person knows how they focus best and how they stay motivated best, our brains work better. And without distractions of things that are happening outside of work or things that are happening within the team, people problems, ways that they don't have support at work, they're less distracted. And so when we're less distracted, we focus better and we work in flow and we're in the zone and we're motivated to do the work.
Oh, that's great. As an executive for over 30 years, that's always been one of the biggest challenges I had is really doing the things that you just outlined. And it has a huge impact on the organization performance, right? So what sets you apart from, say, others that kind of do similar things?
What sets us apart is that we take an identity conscious framework. And so that means that we're not looking at what's the golden rule, we're looking at what's the platinum rule. So the golden rule we know is treat everyone like I would want to be treated. But we know that's not as effective as treating someone as they would want to be treated. And so since we all have different experiences in the world, we all have different needs at work. And so just to pay a little bit of attention to who someone is, to what their experience is in the world, what their experience is at the company, they thrive. So that includes mentorship and sponsorship. It includes employee resource groups. It includes creating a culture of coaching, doing anti-bias trainings and assessments to make sure that the organization is working best for more people.
By the way, I think that's very insightful. So treating people the way they want to be treated, not necessarily the way you want to be treated. I think that's very impactful, actually.
Yeah, and it builds on empathy and compassion that I think a lot of people want to come to the workplace with. We spend so much time with the people that we work with.
Right. That's very good. So what's the biggest challenge that you see, let's say the industry in general facing, and how do you help your clients tackle those challenges?
Mhm. So I think there's two main challenges that have come up in the past 10 years. And one is the idea that people could be expendable, that there are companies out there that their strategy is we're going to get the most out of every person, we're going to use them to their highest capability, and then they burn out, and that's okay. We'll replace them with the next fresh
Yeah.
body that comes in. Um, and that's a strategy, but it doesn't build a great recruitment brand. And so that's what we're doing, is to help companies to make sure that their recruitment brand is solid to attract top talent. And because people talk about work a lot with their friends. And so if we have good things to say about the company we work for, word spreads and we refer to our networks. And the other challenge is a lack of understanding about what diversity, equity, and inclusion means in the workplace. And there are times when people think about that phrase DEI as like diversity for the sake of diversity. And that is not what we mean by that. What we mean by looking at these people factors is creating opportunities. So it's not about preference, it's about building access. And so if more people have access to the economy, more people have access to contributing their skills and talents, we all benefit.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. So how do you see this field evolving, let's say over the next 5 to 10 years? And how are you staying ahead of kind of this evolution?
Mhm. What happens with workforce planning is that people see it as a money spender, not an efficiency metric. And so I think that's something that's going to be changing over the next decade, because workforce planning really started with military and defense organizations. They
Okay.
had to look at matching skills and tasks and job trajectories. And then banking and large consulting firms got into it. But now that technology is a disruptor for so many industries, that's where we come in and help companies to say, okay, this job might not exist in the same way. That doesn't mean this person isn't valuable in the company. So we're shifting the world of work and the nature of jobs to say, here are the skills that the person brings unique to the company, and we use technology as an enhancement. So, right, AI is not the product itself. AI is an enhancement to products that we have, and usually that's people.
And I think that's what everybody struggles with is how does AI fit in to like your specific application? And so that's very good. Okay, we're going to shake it up a little bit. I want to join a lightning round or do a lightning round here. And I'm just going to fire off some questions to you. And you just give me the first answer that comes to mind. And this is really for our viewers to get to know you personally. Okay, ready?
Ready.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, always.
All right. Cats or dogs?
Dogs. I
All
have
right.
a little pit mix.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love the pits. If you could only grab one weapon or item during a zombie apocalypse, what would it be?
it would be these pointy elbows that I have. I don't need a weapon. I've trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Really? Oh, that's interesting. Wow. I'm glad you told me that. I would not want to mess with you. What's a favorite quote or phrase that you think about often?
I think about hope a lot. And so when MLK said that the arc of the universe is long and it bends ever so slightly toward justice, I keep that in mind. I always think about the long view for
Yeah,
society, for people.
yeah, that's deep. How about favorite movie?
Movie, a documentary about Sesame Street really changed my life because it was showcasing the ways that two industries came together so beautifully to create a movement.
Oh,
Education needed entertainment, and entertainment needed education, and it just became something beautiful.
oh, that's cool. How about
Favorite book. My first job out of college was a branding firm, and this guy I worked for, Joey Ryman, wrote a book called Thinking for a Living. And at the time, it shook up this idea that advertising was paying for spots, but he said, I'm gonna make people pay for ideas. Like ideas are that valuable. And so I take that with me.
Oh, cool. Okay, last question. One bucket list item that you've already accomplished and one that's you haven't, but is at the top of your list.
Mhm. A bucket list item.
Mm.
I always wanted to get interviewed by NPR, and that happened a couple years back. And one that I haven't accomplished yet is one of my passion projects is working with third graders on career development. And so I'm building an ed tech product, like a video game for kids to start exploring career interests and get them motivated and knowing that there's options for their future.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. A very productive bucket list item or influential, right?
Not small.
All right. So the most important question though is if our viewers want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach out and talk to you?
I always love to build community and to start conversations and partnerships. So find me on LinkedIn for sure, just under my name, Elissa Buxbaum. And you can email at Elissa at one-us-consulting.com. Looking forward
Okay,
to that.
great. All right, good. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insights. It was really interesting, and I appreciate the time you took to be here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Alyssa.